Everyone's heard of the millionaire's wife who cheated with the pool boy, but what about me, 36 male, the wage slave, and the wife, 41 female, with her son's friend, 18 male? I'll work backwards with this outpour of information to start it off. I purchased a couple dashcams for my work truck and my wife's van. Same model, features, and storage capabilities, including shock-related autosave. Why does that matter? Because the past Monday morning my camera gave me the format data soon warning, meaning it was almost full from hard bumps and door slams, filling up the permanent storage. Okay, I figured my wife's might be full as well by now, so when I get home I'll clear it off for her to be a helpful husband. I even told her this on the phone. When I get home, the first thing I do after getting settled was get to work on clearing that camera. It's an easy process, a couple buttons and reformat clears it all off at once. However, my wife, who for the past year was never interested in how to operate it regardless of the other times I had to clear it and wanted her to know how. So I just start going through the ones I'm familiar with, like in front of the house or Walmart. Then she notices it recorded sound. She thought I left the mic off and suddenly wanted to do it herself. I told her it's no big deal and she repeatedly snatched it from me. Well, this starts to raise some flags, especially after she figured out how to clear the regular loot folder. I get it back and she starts crawling all over me to get it back, threatening to break my Apple Watch if I didn't get it back and offer to tell me the truth if I did. Flash forward 10 minutes, and she tells me this story about letting her son and his friends drive the van in a park, to which I told her that's no big deal. Then the story was smoking weed in the van. Somehow I knew that wasn't it, and then finally I get the "I'm cheating on you" line. After more digging, she told me she had a moment of desperation and kissed her son's friend, and he was the one to stop it. Yes, I was pissed. I was also lied to again. This kid, just turned 18, was staying with us as his family kicked him out. I had strong feelings about him being there for months and let her know this. Well, after telling him to get his stuff and leave, I'm restraining myself to the utmost. Even after he dropped line, I fucked her good too. We have 2 kids together, and they are the only reasons I didn't pop his head off. I thought that was just said to be antagonizing, but I found out later, through reviewing the saved files, this was more than just an accidental kiss. It was an established relationship every one of his friends knew about, including a few sexual encounters she recounts as good. Before I knew the whole truth, she was so upset that I kicked her son and his friend out. I was nearly willing to let them back in out of pity and to make her feel better. Now she's not sure what she wants to do. We're somewhat involved in an in-house separation, and she hasn't said one way or another if she's interested in pursuing something more with him. He is literally 5 years older than our youngest son. She even told me he was like a son to her. There's more to this than just what happened here. We've been together for 15 years. I was 21 and she was 26. I cheated on her. A lot. With my ex and her cousin over the first 2 years of our relationship. The best way to describe it was young, dumb, and you know the rest. We got together as she was in the process of leaving her husband at the time. She got pregnant with my son, and we got married a couple months after he was born. We've been working things through all this time, and I can honestly say I've never touched another person since we've been married. Her, on the other hand, has cheated on me with this guy half my age with no job or even his own place to sleep, and once before after our daughter was born with a guy she knew from high school with claims of going to the gym. She sure got a workout, it seems. Here's the problem. I should be pissed. I should be heartless and leave. I should take the kids, the van, the rent money, and just go. But I can't. For some stupid reason, I still love her, and it's absolutely killing me. She's supposedly taking time for herself to make up her mind between staying with me, being single, finding someone else, or establishing more with this kid. I have barely thought of how bad I've just been hurt. All my thinking and pain is seeing her in this indecisive moment. I want to comfort her and take away all the hurt and just make it better. Should I just step away and let her be alone or with this kid? Should I stay and wait for her to make up her mind, even though it might not be me she chooses? Not only are we tied by our kids, but the usual fare such as bank accounts, insurance policies, and a van that's not paid off until May 2022. My friend says I'm stupid for wanting to stay with her, and I agree, But damn it, she's everything I've ever wanted, other than the infidelity part, of course. Update 1. Me, 36 male, Wave Slave's wife, 41 female, and the stepson's friend, 18M. Follow-up: after a month plus, I've come to my senses and realize there's nothing there to save. She was never over my discretions of 15 years ago, and despite my efforts did not feel loved and wanted. I spent a majority of this time blaming myself until it finally hit me that this was not my fault. This was her actions, and though it could be drawn from the hurt from the past, it is what she chose to do. Over the weeks, we had a few conversations about it all and the hurt that we both endured over the years, and we are both regretful. It was almost relieving to hear she regretted her decision and how she went about it. Unfortunately, due to logistics, me, wife, and stepson are all in the same living arrangement, as she hasn't worked in over a decade, plus the current pandemic. It may sound stupid, but I'm still in love with her. Don't get me wrong, I no longer want to be with her. But that's around 40% of my life that's been spent with her. We're working out the big details to be cleared up with the end of lockdowns, like her own place, job, insurances, phone plans, bank accounts, etc. I am fortunate that she isn't the screwed you, I'm taking it all half type. I will be leaving her the family van since I'm still paying on it for a while longer. I removed her son from our phone plan, as his part in all this has not gone unnoticed. Our children are mildly aware of what's to come and are dealing with it as best as they can at their ages. I'm still a bit of a wreck, but I'm coming out of this with a new outlook on life. If it weren't for my friend of 20 years, I may have found a fast way to a short trip. The only drag at this point is the daily interactions that are mired in awkwardness. Story 2. Marriage issues with my wife arising from daughter's upcoming wedding. My daughter is getting married in a month. Her mother, late wife, obviously cannot be at the wedding, and it has been very hard on my daughter, understandably. They decided not to have a ceremony because it would be too hard on her, and just have a quick courthouse wedding and then have a big party celebrating their marriage later that same day. The courthouse wedding is not meant to be something big, and both my daughter and future son-in-law have invited a few people. My daughter invited me and my 2 sons, also kids of late wife, and my future son-in-law invited his sister and mom, dad not in picture. I obviously want to be at the wedding and support my child, who is struggling on what is supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life. I owe to her as her father, and I promised my late wife that I would be both a mom and dad to our children. I remarried around 5 years after my wife passed, and we have 1 daughter together. My wife is furious at my daughter for not inviting her and our daughter to the wedding. My daughter says that they are invited to the party after, and will both be honored there for the big roles they have played in her lives, but that it is a hard day for her, and she only wants her siblings who understand her pain and her dad there for the court. She said she isn't even inviting her best friend or cousin who she is close to, and that they are being very understanding. My wife is also fighting with me about the decision and saying that I'm being a bad husband for not putting her first. She says I should not go to the marriage without her or our daughter. I agree that marriage comes first, but not if it's detrimental to your child. I do not believe that my daughter is being disrespectful, she is just taking measures to ensure her own mental health is protected. Does anyone have advice? I am happy to provide more information if needed. Edit. Texted my daughter to reassure her, and also my wife and my daughter said she doesn't want drama from my wife, and that I am to bring her to the ceremony.